various workshops, talks and programs, as well as forums such as this. The SGI is open to all between the ages of 18 and 35 and is as much about helping to build leadership skills as it is about supporting young people who are already leaders in their fields. The SGI Advisory Board was formed this year with the task of advising the British High Commission on its youth engagement work. The 14 Advisory Board members are emerging young leaders with interests ranging from education, politics and youth policy, economics and finance, to culture, religious moderation, the environment, the arts, and bringing about change through civil society. Seeing as this is officially our first event, and we're very grateful that you're all here today with us, we'd like to give you a little something to show our appreciation. We've created a short online survey to gather your feedback, which might help us successfully organize more events like these in the future. Please go to tinyurl.com/SGI forum and answer 5 simple questions by the end of this forum to stand a chance to win a pair of tickets to a David Bowie tribute concert happening tonight. If you're our winner, you can collect your tickets from us within an hour after this forum ends. Once again, the URL is tinyurl.com/SGI forum. Get your phones out! Today's forum, Empowering Malaysian Youth, will feature social activist Mr. Syed Azmi, Ms. Dyana Sofya, Executive Committee Member of the Youth Wing of the Democratic Action Party, as well as Mr. Azwan Omar, Youth Parliamentarian and fellow member of the SGI Advisory Board. Among other roles, our moderator, Patricia Tan, is a co-founder of Next Gen Impact, a Malaysian youth-led youth development organization. address and champion the issues that matter to them. I'll hand you over to Patricia to find out.
Thank you, Shakira. Very good afternoon. Thanks for coming here on a Sunday afternoon and get cozied up with us over here. A very privileged and honored to have a set of great youth representatives here. I want to thank the British High Commission herself. She's here to organize this wonderful panel with us. Now, I don't know if everyone knows our speakers over here, you know, Azwan on my left, and then Dyana and Syed Azmi. So what we have here is that there's a sort of a rise of a youth voice in Malaysia. Now, whether we agree with it or not, we've heard a lot of things about what they have done or things that they advocate for in the industry. Now, part of my role here as a moderator, I'll try to be a devil's advocate somewhat in terms of what you say, and sort of try to see that how we can balance out different viewpoints. So, a lot of what we try to say today when it comes to putting a youth panel together is talking about the part on generational relationship that we have right now. I was listening to a workshop by the Asia School of Business, and one of the professors was saying that you know, it's unprecedented where we are today because people are living longer, and that for once, 4 generations are working in one workplace. Now, having the baby boomers, the Gen X, the Gen Y, the Gen Z, and then now we have this cluster of millennials that in one workplace, how do we manage different expectations, different viewpoints and ideas? So we hope to sort of touch upon this by putting it into a more context of sort of social, political, and national development standpoint. I guess just a sort of a quick introduction by panelists is that I can start with perhaps Syed Azmi. You can just give us a quick sort of your introduction as to, you know, why you're doing it.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Syed Azmi. Professionally, I'm a pharmacist, but for the past probably 8 years, I'm doing social activist. I think I'm the oldest here. I'm 40 years old, and and for me, I think that my part here today is about social engagement and also the role of every being. As I said, I'm not an NGO, I'm an NGI, it's non-government individuals, and my aim has always been to get everybody, anywhere they are, whether remote or not, to actually do something. Because everybody plays a role and everybody has this powerful tool to change things. So that's where I'm presenting today.
Thank you. How about yourself, Dyana? Tell us a little bit about, you know, where this motivation of involvement in politics comes from. Your motivation to be part of politics.
Hello everyone, my name is Dyana Sofya. I just came back from the UK. I did my master's degree for the past 1 year. And answering Patricia's question, where was my motivation? What was my motivation to join politics? Well, at that time I was a student and I knew that I wanted to bring change. I wanted to be in the change reform agenda. But how do I do it? Because my mom was involved in politics. At that time, my exposure in politics brought me to join politics. So, being a DAPC executive committee member right now, we always want more youth participation in politics because right now, the youth are the 3/5 of the population. And then I believe that the youth should be given more space in what they want for the future of the country. But right now, we don't even have enough youth representation in parliament, also in state assemblies. So that's why DAPC, we encourage more youth political involvement.
Now, we have Azwan Omar here. He is our youth parliament representative. This is one of the initiative that has been rolled out by the government so that youth has a voice and a platform to speak. So perhaps Azwan, you can tell us a little bit about what you do, what is your sort of angle you come from, when you represent youth in the parliament.
Right, thank you guys. Thank you, Pat. I think out of 3 panelists here, I'm the one who probably you don't know most, but I try my best to deliver my thoughts on this matter. At first, I need to explain back why I decided to join the Youth Parliamentarian, the Malaysian Youth Parliament program. At first, I am kind of person who always find ways to make myself busy. So after I finished my masters, I did my chartered in management, accounting, and everything. So I said, okay, I'm quite bored, So I decided to apply for a Perdana Fellow, but sadly they don't want me. I think a.k.a. thinks that I'm not good enough. Okay, so that's why I decided to join the Youth Parliament program, where it's very open, it's very transparent, it's everything by your own, it's about popularity, it's about numbers. So I decided to put myself on a ballot. Then I became a member of the Youth Parliament. Now, I think I'm being empowered enough because I decided to put myself as a member of the Youth Parliament. In the Youth Parliament, I can share with you, we have a lot of things exciting, right? So we did debate, we did engage with a lot of ministries and agencies, and also the best part is whatever that we table and pass by the member of the Youth Parliament House, it goes straight away to the Cabinet of Malaysia. So the Prime Minister is actually listening to us. So that's one platform for the young Malaysia to be empowered. Thank you very much.
Okay, there was quite a good brief about each and every one of you and what you sort of aspire to in the role that you play. So now I want to go into, there's a whole bunch of themes that we have, looking into things like politics, activism, media, and things like that. So I want to start off with, obviously we touched a little bit of it, which is politics, okay? So it's one of those big sort of topic that I would say that majority, and going back to what Dyana, you were saying, is that when you talk about politics, they're like, oh my god, they either get quite intimidated by it because they don't understand, or what is being reflected or they hear, whether it's by their neighbors or their parents or the media. Now, we know that, all of us, we work with youth, we work with young people, and we always know that we need more new people, new generation, up and coming to address issues that's happening around us. Now, when it comes to youth and politics, one of the big sort of upcoming story is that there's going to be the next general election, right? So now, how important it is for youth to vote, and coming into a sort of culture that we live in is that that how we have been brought up is to shy away from all things. This somewhat, and correct me if I'm wrong, of course. Is that you don't have to speak up so much. Just do what you're told. Why vote? Yeah. So maybe I can go to Dyana because you kind of touched a little bit about that, and then I go to Syed and
Okay, in 2008, we had about over 600,000 new voters, and then they got a political shift after 2008 election. And then at that time, we had more youth representation. For example, we had Wong Kar-wah, he was 28, and then he was elected into office in Perak State Assembly. And then after that, we had Teo Ni Ching, she was an MP for Serdang. And then in 2009, we saw the repealment, and then the repealment of Section 15 of the AUKU. And then we saw that now students aren't allowed to active in politics. Those who are above 21 are allowed to be active in politics. So this shows that the importance of having youth represented, so issues that concern them like this, for example, change of policies, change in laws that would affect the youth are being brought up. So in 2013, we saw, because of what happened in 2008, so many new, the political shift, and then it sort of encouraged 2.6 million new voters to vote in 2013, and then we saw what happened in 2013. So right now, we are expecting to have about another additional 3 million of new voters. That's like the population of Sabah. So these people, the young people, they are the kingmakers. So it's very important for these people to come and vote, to register and vote, so that they can decide on their future, our future. So the key is with the youth, but provided they use the power that is in their hands to vote.
Okay, just before I move to Syed, I just want to explain what AUKU is for those who are not familiar. AUKU is the Akta Uni College University. The amendment that was made was previously in university that students are not encouraged to be involved or even to speak about politics, and so back then in 2012 there were amendments that was done to the Act that allowed for conversations to take place, but not in the premise of the university, but outside, right? So this is a little bit background there. So, Syed.
Okay, this is going to be a bit odd. If I know this is the kind of topic I would have said no. I've already
we have more, this is not the main.
Okay, let me just explain why I say so. I come from a point that I don't like reading politics. I come from a group that I don't believe we have to wait, or whoever is on there is just going to be the same. I don't believe in groupies. I don't believe in things that it's just I think it's just a propaganda to me. I actually believe changes happens every time. I actually believe changes, we do not have to wait for general election, you have to start now. I think the kind of group that I like to emphasize are the kind of group who likes to ask questions, who likes to think, who likes to actually not fight, but to actually voice it out in the most kindest way possible. The reason why I say so is because politics will come to you when you're there. You don't have to actually go and running towards politics just to create or to make changes. You make changes, the politicians are going to come to you. And this is why I think this is not going to be very popular with me. But I will not deny that politics is important. Politics makes it a bit more structured. And actually people can move forward better. However, when it comes to youth, you have to think first. Do you think you actually want to go and vote? It's really up to you. If you don't vote, have a good reason. So if people ask me, do you encourage people to vote? I encourage them to think first. Do you like having just t-shirts? Then just go get t-shirts. If you actually want to make changes and make a stand, start today.
Right. Wow, that's great. No. Yeah, we will move beyond politics, but I wanted, so I was doing a little bit sort of background check on my own, on Google, because I need to know what, each and every one of you do. And Azwan, you'd be surprised, you say that you're not popular, but you'd be surprised you have quite a lot of hits on Google. So now one of the things that actually kind of sort of caught my attention, I was reading a little bit about what you do and a bit of profile what you do, you said that you want to foster corporate mindset instead of politics, in amongst the youth. So that's quite an interesting take for someone to want to be part of the youth parliament. So can you, touch on a little bit about that?
First of all, she did a very good job. I think she did up my old posting on my blog during my campaign election back in 2014. But congratulations again to your pet. But I agree with that. When I talk about corporatization or the element of corporates in the politics, it's more on the operation side of it. So we do, like in UMNO for example, UMNO is already matured, right? Since 1946 up until now. It's already matured, you have structured, it's followers, it's members and everything. But one thing that I think personally lacks off is the culture of doing things, right? So everybody's, not all, but some of the divisions they are good. But the one that actually suffer defeat to the Pakatan Harapan, yes, there's a lot of things we have to work on. That's why I think when you put element of things that incorporate, it's about trust, it's about punctuality, it's about respect, it's about honesty. Every single element in the corporate sector which can drive into how to run a political party, and we should embrace that, right? So it's all about how to run a political party. I mean, we Malaysian, we always part ourselves as in our acuan, in our mold. So probably this is things that we can start to look on, start to talk about and everything. Basically, that's making it.
Okay. Great. Does anybody want to?
I have to agree with Azwan with regards to honesty, and then especially in the issues of delineation right now. The opposition has been raising a lot of concern about delineation of constituencies because we see that there are imbalances of voters, and that is the part that I think honesty should come into place, that it should have been distributed evenly. And then like what Syed Azmi said just now, of course people like him bring so much change. I truly admire the things that he does, but I think that, like he said, politics is also as important. In order to make change, sometimes we have to have power. Without power, we cannot make any change. But there are some changes that can be made, like what Syed Azmi did. But Syed Azmi, you have to know that your influence is the one that encourages change.
Well, we can always agree to disagree, and that's the best part of this. If not, we couldn't be thinkers.
There are a lot of platforms. I agree. There are a lot of platforms. For example, like he chose to be in CSO or NGI. I choose to be in politics. Azwan and I. So we both think that. I think that we must work hand in hand, and we must complement one another for something substantial to take place.
Hold on. When you talk about me and Dyana Sofya in politics, I consider myself in quasi-politics. I'm not yet a member of any political parties. But still, when it comes to empowerment, I do agree with Syed Azmi said very beautifully. He articulated very well. He said, yes, the Malaysians political system or whatever government will start from bottom up. Yeah, I do agree with him. But again, I do agree also with Dyana Sofya saying that in the end, when you want to see real changes, right, your influence forces the people to think, to decide, and to move, and the politician must become that thing. So I think I agree entirely with Syed Azmi.
Okay. Great stuff. I like that interaction that we're having on the panel. So now, I am happy to open to questions to the public if anyone has any questions. So feel free to sort of, raise your hand if you have any question. If there is any questions, then I will I have a set of questions, of course. I want to give opportunity for sort of engagement with the audience as well. Any questions so far? Alright, just to let you know, anytime if you guys want to kind of chip in with questions, you can do that. Now, a lot of what we witness here is that element of voicing out opinions, is the element of questioning, which is the interaction that we can see here. And I'm very encouraged by that, because I work with university students, and one of those things that I realized working with university students is that it's so hard to get them to ask questions. Or even because it's not about asking questions, it's about the level of thinking that's required before they ask the certain question they ask. So that's when we work with this university students. We have to go behind sort of the investigation as to why is that. Now, the reason I brought this up is that we want to move into talking about activism, right? So we're talking about influence earlier. We're talking about having that level of influence or power, that you have in a market, whether it's in corporate, in politics, or as an individual capacity. So now, I will go to Syed. What sort of, I know there's a passion, right? But there's also that, there's also the passion of everyone. I'm just saying, in terms of what you do, how you do that different things that you impact, come to things like, I can think about, coming out from that, breaking that sort of boundary, in a Muslim-centric country, and how the narrative that we have increasingly in the public about how one should be and what should not be. So, how do you sort of foster that sort of, courage, to voice out?
Courage to voice out. I studied locally in pharmacy, and it was very unfortunate. In my class, there was a quota system. There can be only 2 or 3 from Sabah and Sarawak. There can be only certain race at certain quota. And that hurts me a lot. First of all, I didn't ask for that course. I wanted to do education, and they said it was overqualified, and then they put me into pharmacy. Yeah, that was a big slap in my face. And then I know that some people really work hard trying to be there. And they didn't say anything because they don't know. So probably it starts from there. towards the end, I keep on thinking that, and I worked in Sarawak for about 6 to 7 years because of that inequality that happened in my class. And I was thinking that, wait, this cannot be happening. And during my time there, I realized that people just don't like to talk about solutions. People loved nagging and talking about problems. They like to voice it out and put it out there. And even some journalists, there's cameras, but then journalists now, they like to report. That's what they do best. They do reporting. But I always wanted to see in medias or any feedback, the one paragraph of what they think about this, because they see things, these ideas of things can do better, and I don't see that. So there was this hunger of people waiting to find a solution or to find a way to say something and it's not wrong. And way before the dog event, before I got famous and tarnished or whatnot, I have been doing that already. You keep on voicing out if there is something that is unfair, or if there's unjust, there's no transparency about things, you can question at your own level and capacity. We're not here talking about something really big, we're talking about individual level at that point of time. That if you see something is not right, voice it out, talk about it. Sometimes the rule is there, it's not applied because no one talks about it. So, and until that thing grows very big, then we want to see. For instance, I'm sorry, let me just take this part. Child sexual abuse. Child sexual abuse, nobody talks about it. It's only a tabloid news once every 3-4 months, one news. Until we found out that the statistics is 1 in every 4. Where are the news in 1 in every 4? So when I took the initiative to just talk about it, and now I see cases twice a day, and bringing it out there, now we are making movement. Sorry to say this, how much I do not see myself in any political arena, because I keep laughing at them saying that how much do they cost that curry puff for the meeting? I keep on putting that, how much is the cost of the mihun goreng? And but now I'm in together with Dato' Azalina. And because I see her as somebody who wants to bring this forward, as I said, bring up the cause, the politicians will come to you and we can talk about it. But the courage to do so is the best thing I think that ever happened to me was I was working in rural when all of this started. Okay? When I started the dog event, I was in Wajabo and nothing happened. So when that happens, nobody can give excuse, oh he's from KL, oh he's well off. Nobody, because I come from a rural area doing this. And that creates a spark and courage for others to question other things that they believe in their area.
I've got
You have a question?
yeah, a comment as well. I'm Mandy Sangira and I'm from the UK, but I'm here from the UN Women for Youth. And one of the questions, I applaud you for standing up for what you believe in. Sorry.
That everyone can hear.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. Hi, I'm Andy Sangira, and I'm from the UK, and I'm here from UN Women for Youth. So I'm here campaigning and want to empower the next generation. So you're music to my ears. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, because for me, like 27 years, I've been campaigning, talking about child abuse, talking about forced marriages, talking about issues in my community, from being from Indian descent, and talking about issues affecting people in my country, which is the United Kingdom. Now, for many years the government would say, well, it's not an issue, we're not interested in those issues. And I carried on campaigning because I'll tell you one thing, it's really difficult when you shut a lot of doors. People keep slamming them because they don't want to talk about it. What is that like here in Malaysia then for you?
It's actually, there's cultural, there's religion issue as well, and it's nearly the same.